right triangle. So all that previous knowledge of your 45, 45, 90, your SOHCAHTOA, your Pythagorean theorem, out, okay? So non-right triangles is the key. Because obviously there's not every triangle in the world is a right triangle. We have to have other tools. Now, I'm going to talk about the third thing before I do the second thing. Third thing looks crazy, okay? This is the formula. It will be on a formula sheet to give you. Now, when we do these today, you will not have all three fractions in one problem. You will have a pair of them. You'll have two. I might give you angle A and angle C, so you might have the outside ones. So don't get crazy and be like, this looks ridiculous. It's not. I promise you it's easy. I just have to explain it to you. Now, a lot of A's and B's up here. We got to talk about the labeling. Always angles on the top. You always do the sign of the angle. The lowercase letters, the little a, the little b, the little c, those are the sides. So the angles on top, sides on the bottom. Okay, that's easy enough. And of course, the labeling matters, always. So across from angle A is side A, lowercase letter a. They're always paired up because they might not be labeled today. You might have to label them yourself. Not that it's a big deal, but we just have to be conscientious. If we're looking at B, the side across from it is side B, lowercase b. And clearly the C's match up. Now, you can only use law of sines if you are given an angle and its opposite side. So you have to have a pair. Angle B, side B. Angle C, side C. You have to have a pair. You might be like, well, what if I don't have a pair? Well, that's Monday's lesson. That's law of cosines. That's a different formula. We will have a tool to address that. But today we are always starting with an angle and its opposite side. So, now, just like last chapter, the directions are going to say to solve the triangle. What does that mean? You need all the sides and all the angles. You can just write in what I have circled there in green, or I guess rectangle green. And just like the last chapter, there's 6 parts, remember, of a triangle. 3 sides, 3 angles. We're going to give you half the info. You have to find the other half. So you're going to have 3 answers per problem today. So that's kind of the yuck part because I'm going to have 3 answers per problem. But the math is not too horrible. It's going to be a lot of calculator work today, my friends, which makes our lives easier. All right, let's do it. So solve the triangle. So I want to know all sides, all angles. Well, probably the easiest thing, I'm looking at this triangle, to start off with would be angle C. Because you know how to do that. All 3 angles should add up to what? 180. So do that in your calculator. Figure out C for me in your calculator. You don't have to do any work, just punch it in. What do you got for C? 91. Almost right. Not quite. Hey, one of our 3 answers. We're crushing it. Okay. Let's fill that in. That was easy. Now, when we do law of sines, you always start with an angle and the side across from it. Well, I only have one side. So I have to start with the 20, and of course the angle across from it is the 40. So here's going to be my first fraction, first of 2 fractions. Now angle's on top, so sine of 40, and we can put that in our calculator over its opposite side. Got it. Now, it doesn't matter for the second fraction if you work off of the B info or the C. I'm lame, I'm going to go alphabetical order. So I'm going to do angle B, I'm going to find its side across from it, side lowercase b. That's my sloppy handwriting, lowercase b. So sine of 49, angle's always on the top, over its opposite side, lowercase b. Now, old school, algebra 1. Do you remember how to solve a proportion 2 fractions set equal? Use a little cross cross multiply. We're going to multiply on the diagonals. Doesn't matter which diagonal you do first. I'm going to do this one because I feel like it. Now, I like the variable first. I don't know, it's just how I do it. So I'm going to put the b down and then sine of 40. I'm going to do my other diagonal, 20 sine of 49. From here, it's really a lot of calculator work. Because to get b solved for, I'm going to write it on the first one. I can't say as I would really write this every time I'm doing it. I know to get rid of times, my dramatic times, I'm going to divide it. And I'm going to punch in the first couple here with you just to make sure our calculators are under control. Okay. Let me pull up my calculator. So I'm going to do the top one first. I'm going to type in 20 sine 49. Make sure your mode's in degrees. I am. Okay, good. 20 sine 49. Now, I think it's sometimes tough to do it all in one step. Sometimes your order of operations get messed up. I'm just going to hit enter. And I know I got to divide it by sine of 40. So I'm going to do divided by sine 40. Got it. Your homework today, the directions say round to the 10th. So I'm going to round this to the 10th. I'm going to say 23.5 for an answer. Sounds good to me. There is my second answer, and you know I like to label on the picture. Any questions typing that into your calculator? Anybody not get 23.5? Okay, next. We have two answers, we need the third. Now, you're going to start it, bless you, the same way. I'm going to keep my sine of 40 over 20. Right? Over 20. I'm going to change out the right side because now I need side C. Now, some of you might be like, hey, let's just use Pythagorean theorem. But I'm like, you do not have a right triangle. Pythagorean theorem only works on right triangles. So I'm going to do the sine of the angle across from it, that 91 that you guys found for me right away, over its opposite side. There's the setup. Cross products. Now, it doesn't matter which diagonal you do first. I don't know. I always do that one. I think it's habit. C sine of 40. And then I'm going to do my 20 sine of 91. Now, like I said, from here, personally, I probably wouldn't write anything else. I'd just go to my calculator, because how are you going to get C by itself? What do you have to do to your sine of 40? Divide it up. I just go right to my calculator and start punching it in. But I'm going to write it since it's our first one. We're going to divide by sine of 40. Ooh, so much calculator work. Okay, type that in. Let me give you a minute to type it in and see what you get for C. Round to the 10th, because that's what you got to do in the homework. Sounds of calculator keys soothing. What do we get for C? 30.
31.1.
Thanks, Tyler. Perfect. Anybody need me to type that one in? I will definitely do it. If you're having some calculator issues, let's type it in. So I'm going to do the top first, 20 sine 91. I'm going to clear this off just so it's clean and pretty for you. 20 sine 91. Got it. I'm going to do divided by sine of 40. And I got Tyler's perfect answer there. Okay. So if you're having calculator issues, especially like maybe on your scientifics, clearly I'll look at that for you at the end. Let's do a couple more to practice. So I think it's time consuming, but not crazy difficult. All right, remember, we give you half, you find half. Hey, probably the easiest thing would be to find A, because all three angles add up to what? 180. All right, do it. What's A? 16. We got it. Always like an easy one, right? Okay. Now, for law of sines, my first fraction, I'm looking for an angle and opposite side. We only have one side right now. We've got 9. And of course, across from it's the 16. So I'm going to do sine of 16 over 9. Now, let's see what else they gave us. Doesn't matter if we do B or C. Doesn't matter. We got to do both. I'm lame. I'm going to do alphabetical order. So I'm going to do sine of 141. I'm going to do B over its opposite side, which I need to label. It's across from angle B, so that is side lowercase b. Trying to make sure my lowercase b's don't look like sixes with my messy handwriting. All right, let's multiply on the diagonal. I always do that one first. You don't have to, I don't know, I just do it. B sine of 16, 9 sine of 141. Okay. Now again, from here, I probably wouldn't write anything else because you know to get rid of the sine of 16, you're dividing it off. I'm going to write it though for you. Punch this in, let's see what we get. I'm here to look because I don't have them all memorized. Round to the 10th. All right, what do we got for B? Who's brave enough to say it?
20.5.
20.5 is what you should get. Did we get it? Yes? No? Okay. If not, we'll help you with the calculator. Whew, so much work. We got 2 answers, we need the third. Okay, all right, I'm on it. So I'm going to keep the left side, of course, the same. I'm going to start always with that sine of 16 and 9. And then I just have to change out the right side. So I'm looking up here. We got B, of course, was the 20.5. I got it. So now I'm working on side C. So I'm going to use its angle 23. So sine 23 over its opposite side C. All right, little cross products. Here we go. In the same spiel. Doesn't matter which diagonal you start with, whatever. Most of you are probably already typing into your calculator. And of course, to get C alone, I'm just going to divide off that sine of 16. All right, type it in. I gotta look, I don't have them all memorized. All right, what do you got? $12.8. We're the win. So any questions on that guy? All right, flip the page, flip it on your notes there. Now there's 2 more on the back. I don't know if we need to do both of them necessarily. I'm going to do the third one. I might do one off your homework instead because there's a teeny tiny like twist in it, but you know it. So let's do the third example. That area formulas are really easy, and I'm going to do one off your homework for you, okay? Just to make it easy. All right, you tell me what is the easiest thing to start with to find on this triangle? Angle C. They all add to 180, yada yada, punch it in. Tell me what you got. 31, okay. Okay, I like it. So no right triangle, SOHCAHTOA's out, which is a little sad. So we're gonna use our law signs. Now I always have to start with an angle and opposite side. So I was like, oh, here we go. I'm gonna start with the B's. Sine of 107 over 12. Okay, from here. It doesn't matter what you find next. I just go alphabetical. I don't know, that's how I roll. So I got the B's, I'm gonna do A's. Across from angle A would be, of course, our side A. So I'm gonna do sine of 42 over A. Okay. Same spiel, cross products, get out your calculator. A times the sine of 107. 12 times the sine of 42. From there, personally, I don't know if I'd write anything else, because you know to get A alone, you got to divide sine of 107 off. But I'm going to write it for the love of geometry. Yeah. All right. See what you got for A. You guys are quick, all right. 8.4 is correct. Any questions typing in? Okay, last calculation in this style for today. Let's do again, I'm going to keep the blue. Clearly, I got to work on the green here, side C. So across from it's the 31 that you guys found me right away. Opposite side. And cross products, here we go. So I'm going to do C sine 107 and 12 sine 31. And the same spiel. To get C alone, you're going to divide off your sine of 107. Which I don't care if you write that or just do it in your calculator is fine too. Personally, I don't know if I'd write it. You guys are so good at solving equations, I don't worry about that part of it. And for C, you got 6.5. Winning. Okay, so the fourth triangle is really like all of these first three, just with different numbers, obviously. So like I said, I'm going to sit tight on that one. I'm going to start you with one on the homework. You know it. I just want to make sure we didn't forget one of our skills. But let's talk about these area formulas. Now, I think these area formulas look crazy hard, but they're very, very simple, okay? So area of a triangle, we're used to, last chapter, base times the height over 2. And the hard part was getting the height. If you draw the height in, your right angle, we added the Pythagorean theorem, it took forever. Well, this is a little different slant on it. It's actually easier. All you need to do, if you are given one of these angles and the sides next to it, here's a throwback vocab word to chapter 5, included angle. So let's say I give you side C and side B. You would need angle A included. It's in between your two sides. So that's the info you're going to be given. Two sides and an angle. I just picked those because I felt like it. So to do the area, all it is, you do half, you multiply the sides together, and then you do the sign in your calculator or whatever the angle is. So that's one of the formulas over here. I think the formulas look crazy. It's just half times the sides times the sine of the angle that's in between the sides, the included angle. So, I know it looks crazy. When I look at this, find the area of the triangle. I'm like, okay, I'm not using base height over 2. I'm not finding the height and doing all that work. Piece of cake. It's going to be 1/2 times the sides, 9 and 8. I know you know what 9 times 8 is. I'm just going to write it though. Times the sine of the included angle. And all I have to do is type that in my calculator. No Pythagorean theorem needed. Okay, let's type this one in. Now I usually do for the half, I just do 0.5. So I'm going to do 0.5. 9 times 8, I mean, I feel kind of dumb typing that in because it's 72. But I'm going to type it in. And then sine 1/4. So I'm going to round to the 10th like it says. I'm going to put 34.9. What are we in? Centimeters. Centimeters squared. Got it. So again, I don't get carried away on those formulas like, oh my gosh, which formula should I use? Did they give me angle A, B? I don't get carried away on that. I don't at all. I just look at the picture. It's going to be the sides and the sine of the angle in between them. I don't care what formula it is. That's always the pattern. So let's do this. We're going to do number 2 here. Instead of that fourth one on your notes, you know this. It's just a little slant on it. Here's the twist. Okay? You only have one angle right now, the 97. So I can't find all 3 angles to start off with. Big deal. It's okay. It's still the same deal. We always start, of course, with our angle and opposite side. So my first fraction, sine of 97. Opposite side. Okay. Only other info they give you on this thing is the 9. So first question, is the 9 going to be in the top of the fraction, the numerator, or the denominator? Denominator, it's a side. Sine on the top. Now, the angle across from it, we don't know. That's what we're going to find on this one, which we're going to do it a little different keystroke. Give me a hint here on your calculator. But let's do, the cross product. So 9 sine of 97. We can punch that all in the calculator. 22 sine C. So let me just give you a sec to jot that down. Okay, solve for the variable. So let's get the 22 out of it. Let's divide that off, put it on the other side. So over here, I still have the sign too. Now, clearly, I can't do 9 sine 97 over 22 in my head. Okay. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. Let's clear this out. 9 sine 97. And then I gotta divide it by, I already forgot, 22. Okay. So I'm going to round that. I'm going to say 0.406 for right now. Seems like a win. So let's move the calculator out of the way. Now, I know you know this, but I just want to make sure. So to get angle C in your calculator now, you don't just hit sine, you have to hit what? Second sine, like we did last chapter. So you're going to do sine inverse on the old calculator, second sine of the 0.406. So I'm going to type it in because clearly I don't know what that is off the top. I can't do that in my head. Okay. And here's a pro tip too, because I know a lot of you have your graphing calculators. I don't want to have to type in 0.406, blah, blah, blah. And I try to use the whole decimal just to keep it accurate. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my second sine. Now, your calculator will pull up that previous answer. It'll type in the whole thing. It'll like cut and paste 0.40604, blah, 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 all in. You just have to hit second and the negative key at the bottom. That pulls up your previous answer. So I didn't have to type in the 0.406 shenanigans and cut and paste it. I'm going to, let's just round that. Let's make it 24 degrees and make our lives easy. Okay, so I figured you would know that, but I was going to. So I'm going to label that in our picture 24. So what do we have left to find then, of course? Side B. So I'm going to keep your blue fraction, your 97, 22. But I'm going to change the right-hand side. You got to get B. Well, you can get B. You know 97 and you've got your 24. What's angle B? All three add up to 180. That's a very messy 59. That's 59. Peyton got it for me. Over its opposite side. And then do your cross products. Okay?